Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to thank you for being here this afternoon, especially after that barbecue lunch that we just had. My name is Kim Peoples, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about paying college athletes, which is a very controversial subject. It's in the news a lot. On ESPN, they like to discuss the topic. So I'd just like to start out today and kind of get your perspective. So who here thinks that college athletes should be paid?
I do.
Tony, so could you maybe share a little bit more about why you think that?
I think that colleges earn a lot of money through the skills of the athletes that go on the field representing those colleges. A lot of times those athletes come from impoverished backgrounds, they're in tremendous financial pressures, trying to make ends meet. And I just think that they should somehow benefit from the millions of dollars that colleges are earning through their skills.
Right, okay, well I can definitely see that perspective. And then I assume that the rest of you think that college athletes shouldn't be paid?
I think they should.
You don't think that they should be. Okay, well I agree with the four of you. I actually don't think that they should be paid either. I think that education is the #1 priority when they are in college. After all, they are called student athletes. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit about the background. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the rules of paying college athletes. And then share a story that I encountered while I was at graduate school. And then talk a little bit about why paying players isn't beneficial and is actually detrimental sometimes to their future. So the background. So paying college players, you can't do anything from the time of recruiting through their entire college career. So you can't pay them any money, you can't pay for dinner, you can't send them text messages over a certain number. So there's a lot of restrictions on that. But what they can get is a scholarship. That can include tuition, that can include books, living reimbursements, all kinds of things that help make their college career a little bit easier. So to touch on your point, Tony, a lot of people come from impoverished situations. They couldn't go to college otherwise. And these financial tools help them go to college, which will set them up for a bright future. So the story that I mentioned earlier, I actually went to graduate school at Baylor, and the quarterback for Baylor was in my corps, Nick Florence. And so we talked all the time about football and the stories he heard and, locker room talk and the gossip and all that kind of stuff. And one day we were in class, and he shared with me that a rumor going around the locker room was that some players were getting paid, not at Baylor, but at another school. And those players started concentrating on the girls and the partying and the how big of a house or car or whatever that they could get. And so it became less and less about school, to your point, less even about football, and more just about the money. It made it more pro, even though these are students, they're student athletes, they're still in college. So it became less about learning, less about the education, and more about the partying and the money. So I think that college sports should remain an extracurricular activity, not necessarily the focus of it. And once you put money and you start paying the student athletes, then it becomes less extracurricular and more their sole focus. And actually that student that I was talking about, that I was referring to in that story, he ended up in jail. And so he lost his football career, he lost his education, and the possibility for a future that he might not have had since he did come from that financially pressured situation. So when you start putting money into the mix, it really starts complicating things. And I truly believe that paying student athletes is not the right way to go. It starts lessening the college experience for the athletes. So I challenge you, the next time that you're watching ESPN or the news and they are debating that college athletes should be paid, I challenge you to think more about the well-being of the athletes and their future rather than the money and all of the things that come along with that. So thank you for your time today.